Hello fellow readers, my name's Violet and welcome to my channel, Violet's Book Days. Today I'd love to join in for the first time for Poetry Thursday. It might take different forms every time I do it. I plan on doing it at least twice a month, maybe more depending if I have time. And because I'm taking part in Victober, I thought perhaps today I'd have a look at a Victorian era poet. So his name is Algernon Charles Swinburne, and he's completely new to me. I've never heard of him. I have never read one of his poems, but I have rather a large collection of poetry, and as I was going through it, I came across one called A Forsaken Garden, and I quite like it. So I started to look the poet up online, did a little bit of reading about him. I'll read you a little bit about what I found just to give a quick insight, but if you have more of an interest, I'll just leave a link below where I got the information from. I might display a picture or two of him as well, so you can see what he looks like. So he was born April 5th, 1837 in London, and died in April in 1909, also in London. So let me just quickly see something. So what I found was written by George Hornicar on a particular website, which I'll link. And I thought he sort of encapsulated a little bit better than the Wikipedia entry. So I think I'll just read that one out. He was a notable Victorian poet, renowned for his innovative manipulation of verse and provocative subject matter. Born into English nobility, he was deeply influenced by his literary upbringing, which included exposure to significant works by Victor Hugo and W.S. Landor. Landor's another one I haven't heard of, so I might look into that another time. As well as personal connections with prominent figures like Alfred Lord Tennyson and the Pre-Raphaelites. Swinburne's early works, such as Atalanta and Calydon and Chastelard, two which I haven't read yet, but I might get to, they established his reputation in the literary world, marked by themes of sensuality and human dignity, often challenging the societal norms of his time. Throughout his career, he became known for his audacious support of sensuality and political issues, particularly in the works like Poems and Ballads and Songs Before Sunrise. However, personal struggles, including health issues, exacerbated by alcoholism, led to a shift in his focus from poetry to literary criticism, and a return to Elizabethan drama in his later years. Swinburne's unique physical appearance and his philosophical departures from contemporaries like Robert Browning and Alfred Tennyson further distinguished him. Ultimately, Swinburne's literary legacy reflects a complex interplay of artistic innovation, personal struggle, and social commentary. So there's that little bit of an overview, and now on to the poem itself. So, A Forsaken Garden. In a coign of the cliff between lowland and highland, at the sea down's edge between windward and lee, walled round with rocks as an inland island, the ghost of a garden fronts the sea. A girdle of brushwood and thorn encloses the steep square slope of the blossomless bed, with weeds that grew green from the graves of its roses, now lie dead. The fields fall southward, abrupt and broken, to the low last edge of the long lone land. If a step should sound, or a word be spoken, would a ghost not rise at the strange guest's hand? So long have the grey bare walks lain questless, through branches and briars if a man make way. He shall find no life but the sea winds, restless night and day. The dense hard passage is blind and stifled, that crawls by a track none turn to climb. to the strait waste place that the years have rifled, of all but the thorns that are touched not of time. The thorns he spares when the rose is taken, the rocks are left when he wastes the plain. The wind that wanders, the weeds wind shaken, these remain. Not a flower to be pressed of the foot that falls not. As the heart of a dead man, the seed plots are dry. From the thicket of thorns whence the nightingale calls not. Could she call? There were never a rose to reply. Over the meadows that blossom and wither rings but the note of a seabird's song. Only the sun and the rain come hither all year long. The sun burns sere and the rain dishevels one gaunt bleak blossom of scentless breath. Only the wind here hovers and revels in a round where life seems barren as death. Here there was laughing of old, there was weeping, haply of lovers none ever will know, whose eyes went seaward 100 sleeping years ago. Heart hand fast in heart as they stood, look thither, did he whisper? Look forth from the flowers to the sea, for the foam flowers endure when the rose blossoms wither. And men that love lightly may die, but we. And the same wind sang, and the same waves whitened, and or ever the garden's last petals were shed. In the lips that had whispered, the eyes that had lightened, love was dead. Or they loved their life through, and then went whither, and were one to the end. But what end, who knows? Love deep as the sea, as a rose must wither, as the rose-red seaweed that mocks the rose. Shall the dead take thought for the dead to love them? What love was ever as deep as a grave? They are loveless now as the grass above them, or the wave. All are at one now, roses and lovers, not known of the cliffs and the fields and the sea. Not a breath of the time that has been hovers in the air now soft with a summer to be. Not a breath shall there sweeten the seasons hereafter, of the flowers or the lovers that laugh now or weep, when as they that are free now of weeping and laughter, we shall sleep. Here death may deal not again for ever. Here change may come, not till all change end. From the graves they have made, they shall rise up never, who have left naught living to ravage and rend. Earth, stones, and thorns of the wild ground growing, while the sun and the rain live, these shall be, till a last wind's breath upon all these blowing, roll the sea. Till the slow sea rise and the sheer cliff crumble, till terrace and meadow the deep gulfs drink, till the strength of the waves of the high tides humble, the fields that lessen, the rocks that shrink. Here now in his triumph where all things falter, stretched out on the spoils that his own hand spread, as a god self-slain on his own strange altar, death lies dead.